Welcome to Trust Foundry. I'm your host, Stephanie Garises. This is a safe space in which we forge the principles of trust, not just some abstract ideas, but the real lived values that have been tested through the fires of experience. Here, we talk to leaders across generations, across disciplines, about their earliest life experiences that have shaped the way they build and hold trust today. We go back to their childhood, adolescence, to the moments in which their beliefs were built or broken, and how that has shaped the way they show up today in the boardrooms, in the classrooms, in the teams, in the communities. In this first episode, I want to let you know a little bit about me, why this podcast even exists, what Trust Foundry means to me, and the trust principles that guide the way that I show up as a leader, a colleague, a friend, and a partner. Let's begin. So for some context, I grew up in Windhoek, Namibia. It's a country in Southwest Africa. Beautiful, hot, vast. And I'm from a minority tribe called the Damaranama people, the Kwekwe people, for those of you who know the term. Means that I speak the language, my mother tongue, Kwekwe Govap, otherwise known as Damaranama. The way I would greet you in my mother tongue is like, Saintes. That just means good day. The way that I grew up was typical of people in my tribe. Growing up in your grandmother's house with a whole bunch of cousins, lots of aunts and uncles, everybody kind of just living together on top of each other, and having really rich, strong familial experiences, and learning to depend on communities. My earliest years were shaped in the streets of Shanompala, Katutura. For those of you who know where that is, you know what I mean. Walking around, getting some ice, getting some chips, hanging around with my cousins, playing. I was a very small and scrawny child and very shy, a slow eater. So, I get picked on a little bit by my cousins in a cute way. I couldn't dance for anything. And dancing is like a second language in my country, so you can imagine how that went. So we're talking about like birth till, I don't know, 5-7 years old. That was the early part of my formative years. After that, I moved with my mom and my sisters and kind of away from the extended family. And in that period, and we're talking like, young adolescence all the way through to university until I finished that, I pretty much became a second parent to my younger sisters. And so I took on a lot of responsibility for my age. That was like from the age of 12. And I just took life way too seriously, way too seriously. I was the strict parent because my mom was the lenient one, the liberal one. And funny enough, she was only strict with me and not with my younger sisters. And so I found that really strange. But so I believed in, academics and doing things on time. I went to a German high school, so timing was really important. That was just like a lot of very unnecessarily serious character development in those years, I guess, from like 12 to like 18. Then I went to university and I was like, I want to explore more now. I want to build my social capital. I want to try things out, and so I started doing a lot of community work, training people in technology and just getting involved with like entrepreneurship and stuff. And then I started going on these fellowships. I did the Mandela Washington Fellowship, which is a flagship program of the Young African Leaders Initiative. I did that in 2018 in the entrepreneurship track, and it was really just an induction into business, what it means for Africa, for Africans, what's going to be happening with the second scramble for Africa. A lot of really great insights, met a lot of really passionate people, and got freaked out by entrepreneurship a bit. I'm not going to lie. And so then after that, I just decided, okay, let me do some work and have some real life experience, because I haven't yet lived, I was like a parent and I was like a child, but like, I never like experienced life on my own terms independently. And so that brings us to here, where I'm sitting right now. It's in London, England, the United Kingdom. I decided to get married and move to the UK with my wife. in 2022, and the last 2 years showed me flames, to say the least, just in terms of self-awareness and self-leadership, so to speak. And so that's really where the idea for this podcast was born, is that I went through so many things in such a short span of time, where I unpacked the things that happened in my childhood. I started showing up in the workplace in a highly unregulated manner, because of things that were happening. And I was just, I had never been trained for emotional regulation and things like that. And so I went on this self-discovery journey to really understand what are the things that drive me, what are the things that help me build trust and just trust spaces and relationships and environments and things like that. And I've been journaling and monologuing for months. And I decided, well, maybe I should just kind of share this with people. And so that's what I'm doing now, right? So to summarize the principles of trust that I've picked up along the way, and as I have some guests on the show, I'm going to obviously dive deeper into some of my own experiences as well, just to kind of relate to them and see where they're coming from. But if I have to summarize my trust principles as they are today, it's being heard, being listened to, and listening to others, right? This is a two-way street. It's not just like, oh, I'm talking and you need to listen to me. So being listened to, being included, that's very important, right? Like just even if it's not to consult, but just to inform and to keep aware, include me in things so that I feel like, I'm part of things, I'm engaged. Another trust principle for me is being consulted. I really respect it when I'm consulted about decisions that have to be made, especially if they impact me, whatever our relationship is, whatever the context is. And I like to be supported, not because I need it, because I'm a highly independent person. If you've experienced me in the last year and a half, you might not think that. But if you've experienced me literally any other time, you would know that for a fact. And I'm getting back into that. But I'm a highly independent person, and so I learned how to do things without support. And I realized that you just can't go through life like that. I mean, you can, but like, why would you want to? I personally don't want to. Right. So I want support. I want people to help me along the way, because yes, I can get stuff done, but maybe I could have done things in a less strenuous way or a less painful way. And if I just listen, trust principle number 1, I can be helped. I'm working on asking for help to be supported. So yeah, in summary, those are my trust principles. It's to be listened to, informed, consulted, supported, to have courage. On one hand, 5 things that shaped the way that I grew up, the way that I built trust growing up, and also shaped the way that I build trust going forward. And that's not to say that I always did all of these things, or that I always remember to do all of these things today even. That's just my standard of trust and what I need. Those are my non-negotiables. I need to, and that's in both ways, in terms of giving and receiving. I expect that of myself, and I expect that of others. And others can say no, and I can't control that. But when I say no to myself, I'm breaking that trust relationship with myself too. And so it's not my goal to be breaking trust with myself. So when I demand these principles of myself, I very much intend to stick with them. And so far, they have given me a lot of value. And actually, I forgot a 6th principle, which is so important. It's consistency. Another one, even perseverance. So I guess I'm just full of principles. Perseverance has been one that has been with me all the way through. Like, that's one trust principle that I just never gave up on. And I had absolutely nothing left to hold on to. I would hold on to perseverance and just keep showing up, and that would get me to the other side. That's good. And then consistency. In the last 2 years or so, I learned just how important consistency is, and just how I'm actually getting in my own way by not being consistent, because it is the difference between me with potential versus me living in my full potential, unlocked. I don't know how else to put it. Just living in my full self, in my full truth, in my full capability. Consistency is the key. So yeah, that's my first episode. I don't want to keep this too long. The goal is to just introduce you to me, who I am as a person. I'm a 29-year-old data professional. Let's call it data professional, because I'm a T person, very broad spectrum, very deep in architecture and engineering. But yeah, those are the things about me to just get you started and get you thinking about where this might be coming from. And I'll be bringing on some guests onto the show soon, I hope, if I can just be consistent with this. Yeah, I look forward to building this community, to establishing more principles of trust, following the lineage of where they come from, and looking at the impact of how they can change our realities, just creating more compassionate, responsible leaders like myself. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. It's a channel. Things have to be done. Lovely to meet you.